Greetings, my name is Dr. Fuller. I would like to introduce you to the mathematical world around you. Today, we are diving into the exciting world of adding and subtracting multi-digit whole numbers. Get ready to become a pro at crunching those numbers and solving real-world problems like a math superhero. Before we begin, let's make sure we're all on the same page. What exactly are multi-digit whole numbers? They are big numbers with more than one digit, like 17, 256, or even 197,204. Adding and subtracting these numbers means you can solve problems quickly and accurately. It's like having a superpower that helps you in everyday life. To master this superpower, I will focus on three strategies: place value, properties of operations, and the relationship between addition and subtraction. Don't worry if these terms sound fancy, I'll break them down for you. To begin with, let's talk about place value. Place value is like a secret code that tells us the value of each digit in a number. In multi-digit whole numbers, each digit has a specific place or position. In our number system, the position of a digit determines its value. For example, let's look at the number 412. The digit 4 is in the hundreds place, so it represents 400. The digit 1 is in the tens place, so it represents 110. And the digit 2 is in the ones place, so it represents 2. By understanding place value, we can break down big numbers into smaller parts. Then we can work with them more efficiently. It's like being a detective solving number mysteries. Let's add 172 and 258 using place value. I begin by writing both numbers in a place value chart. Let's start adding with the hundreds place. The 1 and 2 represent 100 and 200. Adding 100 and 200 gives us 300. I will write that below in the place value chart. Next, I will add the digits in the tens position. The 7 represents 70 and the 5 means 50. Adding these two together gives us 120, which I will also write down. Then we have the ones position. 2 and 8 are just that because they are 2 ones and 8 ones respectively. Adding 2 and 8 gives 10. I write this as well. Now that we have added all the place values, we must combine the intermediate answers to get the final answer. 300, 120, and 10. 300 and 100 more is 400. 20 and 10 more is 30. Only zeros are in the ones place, so I will write a 0 there. Therefore, 172 plus 258 is 430. Try this one. Candace started with 572 candles and sold 253 of them. She wants to know how many candles she has left. Candace subtracted 253 from 572 using place value. She wrote the following down. Is she correct? First, Candace wrote the values in a place value chart. She subtracted the values in the tens position, then the hundreds place. Finally, she subtracted the values in the ones place and used regrouping. Her answer of 319 is correct. Using place value, you can work with the places in any order. Just ensure you deal with all places and regroup appropriately. For this reason, we often work from the ones position up. It helps us stay organized so that our answer is accurate. Next, let's talk about the properties of operations, which is a fancy way of saying that certain math operations allow us to do special things. One property is that numbers can be added in any order without changing the result. But there are lots of properties that you will learn about. For example, let's say we have 15 plus 57. If we switch the order and write it as 57 plus 15, guess what? The answer is still the same, which is 72. We call this the commutative property of addition. It's useful to rearrange added numbers to make adding easier. Now imagine that we are adding 12, 25, and 75 together. We can add these in any order. For example, I could start with 25 and add 75 to get 100. Finally, I will add the 12 for a total of 112. We call this the associative property of addition, and it allows us to pair up values in any order to add them together. Kurt counted 274 white-tailed deer, 512 wild turkeys, and 316 wild hogs when surveying some land in North Georgia. He wants to know the total number of animals he saw. Show him a way he could arrange the values to make adding the values together easier. What is the total? One way is to start with 274 and add 316 to it. I added these two first to take advantage of 4 and 6 making a set of 10. Adding these gives 590 and requires regrouping. Then I can add 512 for a total of 1,102 animals seen. The commutative and associative properties of addition are helpful properties that make calculating easier. Finally, let's talk about the relationship between addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction are like two sides of the same coin. They are related and can help us find missing numbers or solve related problems. For example, if we know that 25 plus some number is 80, we can use subtraction to find the missing number. We can use 80 minus 25 equals the unknown number. The answer is 55. See if you can solve this problem. Imagine you're planning a trip and you have $50 saved up. You want to buy a souvenir that costs $28. What is the maximum amount of money you can spend on other things without going over your budget? I know that $28 plus the rest of my money is $50. To solve this, I will use subtraction. I subtract the cost of the souvenir from our total savings. $50 minus $28 equals unknown. The answer is $22. So you can spend up to $22 on other things without going over your budget. I knew the sum of the cost of the souvenir and the other stuff equals $50. Thus, I could rewrite the relationship using subtraction. Emily has a puzzle with 60 pieces and has already completed 42 of them. She wants to know how many pieces are left to finish the puzzle. Emily knows the number of pieces completed plus the number left equals the total number of pieces. So she subtracts the number of completed pieces from the total number of pieces. 60 minus 42 equals 18. Emily has 18 pieces left to finish the puzzle. Finally, Kaji is a nurse in a large hospital. He knows there are 47 patients on the floor where he works. 14 of those patients are his. How many are not? He knows there is a relationship between the number of patients that are his, the number that are not his, and the number of total patients on the floor. Kaji knows that if there are 47 patients on the floor and 14 are his, he can subtract to find out the number of patients that are not his. Kaji subtracts the 10 from 47 to get 37. Then he subtracts 4 for an answer of 33. There are 33 patients on his floor of the hospital that he does not take care of. In these examples, we can see how the relationship between addition and subtraction helps us solve various problems. Whether it's finding the remaining amount or determining a missing number, understanding this relationship can make solving math problems more manageable and you more efficient at solving the problems. In my mathematical world, I have one little problem. I called some friends to learn how they add and subtract multi-digit numbers in their jobs. Help me understand these situations by using place value, properties of operations, and the relationship between addition and subtraction to solve each. Claudia is a police officer investigating a crime scene. She identifies 243 fingerprints at the scene. She sent 142 samples to the lab. How many fingerprints remain untested? The robbers stole 17 TVs, 27 laptops, 19 gaming consoles, and 46 coffee makers. How many total items did the robbers steal? Van is a video game producer. He has been working on a new level where you can earn 1,270 points from coins, 582 points from defeating monsters, and 87 points for defeating the boss. How many points can you earn in total? This level has 58 unique assets, from monsters to the environment, that must be created. Van's team has finished creating 39 of them. How many are left to create? Michaela sometimes drives a truck for the city as part of her job. She keeps track of her miles to submit a weekly total. If she drove 72 miles Monday, 43 miles Wednesday, 18 miles Thursday, and 26 miles Friday, what was her mileage for the week? She wonders if she will drive 500 miles this month. How many more miles will she need to drive during the other weeks if she drives exactly 500 miles this month? Moran is a farmer. How many animals does he have in total if he has 36 cows, 133 chickens, 52 turkeys, and 18 pigs? He counted 76 chickens. How many did he not count? Rick owns a small shop. He said 52 customers came in this morning and 127 this afternoon so far. How many customers have come by today? Rick said he had 175 bags of chips delivered this week. He has 28 left. How many did he sell? Christoph is a social media manager. For one client, he has the following numbers of followers: 127,000 followers on Instagram, 98,000 followers on YouTube, and 8,000 followers on Facebook. How many followers does this client have in total? Christoph is pushing to grow his client's followers on Facebook to 30,000. How many more followers does he need to get? Mike is a firefighter and is counting the number of people evacuated from a burning building. There are 127 adults and 28 children. How many people have been evacuated in total? The first ladder is 75 feet long, but the top of the building is 172 feet high. How far is the top of the first ladder to the top of the building? Mr. Jones teaches science. He teaches chemistry to two classes. One class has 28 students and the other has 19. How many students does he have in his chemistry classes? He planned to ask 2,172 questions to his geology students. He has already asked 855 questions. How many questions does he still need to ask his geology students? Take a look, and you will see a mathematical world around you filled with multi-digit whole numbers and situations where we need to add and subtract them. Becoming good at adding and subtracting multi-digit numbers means you should think about and use different strategies. Practice makes you faster, more accurate, and more confident in your solutions. So, be patient. Remember, math is not just about numbers. It's about problem solving, critical thinking, and unleashing your imagination.